All right, guys, what do you say we do a little what's in the bag home edition? That's right. Unfortunately, as you know, lockdown, trying to do the responsible thing, everybody's staying indoors, and a number of you, we said, what type of content you want to see? And you guys said, let's do a what's in the bag. So what better time? We can't be outdoors anyway. If you take a look here, we're getting all types of sleet, rain, snow mix today anyway. So we can't be outdoors. Would have loved to have brought you all outdoors and done a what's in the bag on the range like we did once before, but unfortunately can't do that. But you know what, we can have a little bit of fun with this, and what better time to do it than right now, because I've got everything out of the bag anyway as I switch over from the Vessel bag from last year to the new Titleist Players 4 bag, which we just did a giveaway for. Congrats to our winner, by the way. But I got everything out. I got everything laid out here. And not only do I want to take you guys through some of those extras in the bag, but also my bag doubles as our camera gear equipment bag. So not only we're out there trying to play golf, we're also trying to make some great content for you guys. So I'm gonna take you through some of that stuff that we put in there and kind of how I organize it. So I'm excited to dive into all of that. So without further ado, man, let's just dive right in. All right, guys, so like I said, bear with me. We're in the home office here. So not the ideal settings, a little bit cramped here, but we're gonna run through everything. So the first thing first is the driver. And some of this stuff I'm gonna go through quickly because it hasn't changed since the last What's in the Bag. You can check out that video. But some things did change, the new head covers, which you might have saw on Mike's What's in the Bag. We just got these from Titleist, loving them. But the TS2. This has been one of my absolute favorite and most reliable clubs in the bag. I never thought I'd say that with a driver before. I went with the forgiveness when we did the driver fitting. The TS2 had a lot more forgiveness versus the TS3. The benefit of the TS3 is you can really kind of dial it in with that adjustable weight. This does not have that type of adjustable weight, but it's super forgiving and it just lets me just send it. You know, I can just swing away and I know I'm gonna hit a lot more fairways than I have been, and my game's been benefiting for it, that's for sure. All right, guys, the next ones are the 3-wood and hybrid, okay? So I ran through these in detail, like I said, on the last What's in the Bag, especially my decision to go with a hybrid. I'd always played a 3-iron, and I swapped it out for a hybrid because of the fitting we did with Kevin Sprecher. He pushed me to try the hybrid, and it has since become one of my absolute favorite clubs. I hit it far more forgivingly than the 3-iron, and I hit it further than the 3-iron, so it's versatile. I've also used it in certain situations to chip around the greens, or in some of our challenges, I've even used it to putt with before. So it's an excellent club. Both these clubs, however, one thing that's been on our list of things to do is to upgrade to the TS series line in both the 3-wood and the hybrid. Both Mike and I have had a chance to hit them, but haven't been able to go through the full fitting yet. That is on the plan to do this season, so these most likely will be replaced in 2020. It's just a matter of when, but love both clubs. The 3-wood, arguably, I don't hit it as well as I should. That's not on the club, that's on me. I need to practice with it a little bit more, but the hybrid has become super reliable. When I jump into my shot scope dashboard, I can see that my usage for the hybrid is quite high, whereas my usage for the 3-wood is quite low. But I wanna keep the 3-wood in the bag. I just wanna make some adjustments to that, and we'll see how that goes real soon. Okay, and here is where the big changes for 2020 are coming in. Arguably, not a complete 2020 club because we did get 1 or 2 rounds in at the end of the season 2019 with the new T-Series irons. If you guys didn't get a chance to check out the fitting we did with Kevin Sprecher, we went through all the decisions we made of why we ended up with these clubs. But what I found with the T-Series, generally speaking, was versus the AP3s, which I was gaming before, more forgiveness. Big thing, dispersion. Dispersion is what I wanted to focus on. I was getting plenty of distance out of the AP3s. And what I found was maybe a yard or 2 additional distance here. My focus this time around was consistency in my game, and I wanted to bring that dispersion in a bit. And that's something I did. The other big thing, the other big change this year, I have never mixed up my bag before when it comes to iron sets. So prior to the fittings, we talk about them on the podcast and things like that all the time. Prior to that, I'd always kind of gone with a set that I bought off the shelf. Since then, learning the benefits of the fitting, I moved into obviously going through the fitting process. But the last time around, I bought the AP3s all the way through, 4-iron through pitching wedge. This time, I mixed it up a little bit. So we ended up going with the T300s in both the 4 and 5-iron. This is something that Kevin Sprecher kind of guided me into. He said, a lot of guys with the T series, there's so many variations in there. The T100, T200, T300, and each is gonna work for different golfers differently, but also mixing and match within a single golfer may have different spots in their bag where they're gonna benefit more. What we benefited from was with the T300s, that extra forgiveness. The T300s are very forgiving clubs. So the clubs that are harder to hit, the 4-iron and 5-iron, we went with the T300s. And what I like about them, because they're in the same T-series line, the look is not that far off. So it's not distracting to my eye or something like that when I pull a 5-iron versus a 6-iron. So all I'm getting with these longer irons is a little bit more forgiveness from the T300s. Then jumping from the 6 all the way down to the pitching wedge, we went with the T200s, which I would say are the prettiest clubs I've ever owned when it comes to irons. I love the look of the AP3s. I loved everything about them. They were hard to give up. They're actually still right there because I can't let them go. But as far as both performance from a dispersion standpoint and looks, I feel like these are a step up from the AP3s, which again, is saying a lot because of how much I really enjoyed those. But the T200s I found were the perfect mix. Right between the T100s and the T300s, they're that perfect mix of a little bit of forgiveness, but also performance. So when you're looking down at them in a dress, they've got a great streamlined look. Just overall, excellent clubs. And for the few rounds I got a chance to play with them, I played them very well, had a lot of confidence, and especially making that change from the AP3s to the T-series, no problems. All it felt like was an upgrade, not a change. So that has really been a benefit. The other benefit to going with the T200s and the T-series, yeah, T200s for the pitching wedge, is that the pitching wedge is the same loft, 43 degrees, as the AP3s. So 43 degrees is a strong loft. When we did our last What's in the Bag, a lot of you had asked about my gapping on the wedges. And one thing to point out is because there's a 43 degree loft on here, you have to take account of that in your gapping. So we went through the whole wedge fitting, we accounted for that, but the nice part is because this is the same loft as the AP3s, I don't have to worry about re-gapping my wedges. So I'm able to go with the same wedges, which we're gonna dive into here now. All right, so diving into the wedges. As I said, did not need to re-gap. So previously, I went from the pitching wedge to the 48 degree. That's what we're still doing here. So we're going from a 43 degree pitching wedge to a 48 degree wedge there. These are all still the SM7s. As if you watched Mike's What's in the Bag the other day, you heard him say that we had a fitting on the books with Kevin Sprecher for this Friday for the SM8s, which I've been incredibly excited for. Unfortunately, as with everything in the world right now, it's been put on pause. Just pause though. We are gonna get to it. As soon as we kind of get through this and it starts to warm up and we're able to start traveling again, we are gonna do that. But honestly, I'm not super concerned with it being a huge rush because of the fact that I'm still playing so well with the SM7s. My goal, if anything, if I can see that little bit of a performance bump, like I did going from the AP3s, which I was happy with, to the T-series, if I can do the same with the SM7 to the SM8, I'm gonna be a happy man. The other one change that I did make last year, however, about halfway through the year, I did change one gapping. I have here my old wedge, which was a 56. So I was going 48, 56, 60. What I found was that the gapping of the 56 to the 60 was a little bit close. And also, I found myself in a lot of positions 100 yards and in. I'd go back through my shot scope data and I'd notice that was a shot that was coming up often for me. And the problem was, in regular conditions, I wasn't reaching the green with my 56. And the 48 was something like my 115 club. So I was in between clubs on a shot that was happening often. So when you find that, that's the time to make a change. So what I did is I put the 56 away and replaced it with the 52. The 52 full swing is my 100-yard shot now. Feel a lot more confident with it. Also had some fun with this one because this is the Fish and Chips Club. So Mike went down, saw our buddy Aaron Dill in the Titleist truck. Aaron is the custom Vokey wedge designer for the players on tour. He works right with Bob Vokey, who we've had on the podcast a number of times. And just a terrific team, the way they work together. And he does incredible work. So Mike had a little bit of fun. Mike and Aaron putting Fish and Chips on here for me. It's a joke from the Scotland series. Hopefully you guys got a chance to catch a little inside joke, a little fun little joke. So 52 degrees Fish and Chips. And the final one is my 60 degree, which I use a lot on greenside bunkers, and usually for shots about 70 yards and in. When I go to the SM8s though, I am tempted. I think I'm gonna go with the black finish. I wanna mix it up a little bit. But love these clubs, they've been terrific for me. Last but not least, the Bettinaradi BB1 LN putter. This has been in the bag for, I'd say 3 seasons now. Originally going all the way back to our putter fitting, which we did at Club Champion in Hackensack, New Jersey. I got fit for this club. It was a bit expensive, so honestly I walked out of there and thinking, I don't know if I want to pull the trigger. But after kind of re-going through it and thinking about what had gone into that and how well I was putting with it after we've been fit, and just knowing the confidence level from being fit, I said, I gotta do it. A lot of you asked me about the Scotty. I do have the Scotty here. I've toyed around with it a little bit. It's a terrific club. I was unsure because I was putting well with both of them. So I brought both of them to Kevin Sprecher. We threw it on the Sam Putt Lab just to give it a true, honest, apples to apples comparison. And at the end of the day, I was putting better with the Bettinaradi. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Putting incredibly well with the Bettinaradi. I'm gonna keep it in the bag. I did make one small change to it. After our lesson with Kevin Sprecher, I shortened it up a bit. I know some of it joke with me because they say it looks like a kid's club because it's so short. But in my particular putting stroke, what we found was that my arms were too wedged in. We just cut about an inch off of the club, and I'm able to free up my arms better for a better putting stroke. So that's where we're at. That's everything that's in the bag right now. Like I said, there will be some changes in 2020, but for right now, we're heading into the season with this. I'm very confident with it. I feel like every club in the bag performs the way it should for me. Everything is fit to my game. Everything was a smart and well thought out decision before it even went in the bag. And at this point, any changes I'm making are just small tweaks to make it a little bit better. So that said, let's get into some of this fun stuff that's down here. Oh, but wait, before we do that, I also want to take you through the bag because the bag is a change. So there you see the vessel bag that we were using last year, and then here is the new Titleist Players 4 Plus. Terrific bag as far as it's a little bit lighter, which is going to be important playing a lot with caddies. Gotta go easy on your caddies, that's for sure. But one thing that was important for me was pockets and organization, because when we're out there, we've got to move and we've got to film, so we've got to be organized. So a lot of what I use in my bag is organization for that type of stuff. Camera gear, adapters, lenses, things like that we need to be able to get to quickly and keep moving. A lot of you ask how we film while we're out there. One key is just move. You gotta be able to get your shots and move so you're not holding up everybody behind you. So organization is very important for me. The other thing too is I just think there's certain things that are very well thought out. If you've ever lost anything down here, balls, tees, whatever, you know how frustrating that is. You gotta take everything out of the bag, turn it upside down and dump it out, right? Well, they put a little zipper in there, inside the side pocket, where you can actually access and reach your hand down in there. And I love that. So if you lose something in there, you reach right down, you can grab it. So yeah, so that's gonna be the new bag for this year. Like I said, the vessel's not going anywhere. I love that bag. One question coming up from our 2018 What's in the Bag, a lot of you asked, was there concern with the white? If anybody's thinking about going with the white, that's a white, like a fake leather feel to it. Don't be overly concerned. That bag went everywhere with me, everywhere. It did get a little bit dirty, but all I would do is hit it with the magic eraser, boom, right back to the way it was. That's a 2-year-old bag, still looks great. So if you want the white but you're worried about it, go for it, get it. All right, let's run through this stuff, all the other stuff in the bag. All right, guys, you ready to run through this? So, a couple things. First of all, I always keep, we often play in very changing weather conditions. Sometimes, especially around the spring, fall, it can be incredibly cold, and then get warm and the sun comes up, and often we're playing 2 rounds in a day. So I like to be ready with a couple of key things from a gear standpoint. For one, I carry 4 different types of gloves in my bag. I learned this also the hard way going to Scotland and realizing how quickly the weather can change. First thing is rain gloves, okay? So I got the rain grip FootJoy gloves I keep in there. I have some true winter gloves. These things are incredibly warm. I'm surprised at how little they interfere with your ability to swing because they are a little bit thicker. So the coldest days get these. The kind of in between have been these, which they've got that same stay soft material like this, where you're actually touching the club, so you feel like you've got that same level of grip, but on the back they're warm. And also, how about these? How do these look? Incredible. So these are kind of like my in-betweeners, and you've got one for each hand. So if it's just a cool day, but not quite warranting a rain glove or a winter glove, you got these. Otherwise, I've got these in the bag. I usually carry 1 or 2, just in case if one rips or gets wet or something like that. Love this, very important part of my game, that's for sure. If it's a really cool day, which as you guys have seen, we've played in some of the coldest weather imaginable, I've got some hand warmers that go in the pocket and even some feet warmers that I can wedge in the shoes if need be. I keep a couple towels in the bag as well. One towel used for cleaning up the clubs. The other one, it's kind of a sentimental thing. This is the towel they gave me when I was Mike's caddy at Bay Hill for the Arnold Palmer Invitational Pro-Am. So this is one that makes me feel like a real caddy. So I bring that with me. Plus it's a terrific towel. Tees. First and foremost, you guys know, you see it, I like to tee it high on the driver. So I got the nice long tees and just a couple other just little tees that I have in there. These are the tees they give you at Kingsbarns. You'll notice a little bit of a different setup here. It's because it's so windy over there. You're able to tee that ball, that nice big tee spot, and you can actually lean it a little bit in case it's windy so it's not blowing off the tee. And I've got my Team Titleist tees as well there. Ball markers, divot tools. I throw a couple in the bag just so I have some backups. Been using this one for a long time. Got it at an 18 Birdies event. It's got a bottle opener on it. It's got a divot tool and it's got a ball marker that I use occasionally. I've also got just some that I've collected at some of the better golf courses. Kingsbarns right there. This one's from London Links. This is when we went to over to Scotland and did our Scotland series. And then I've got, this is one of my favorite ball markers. You guys may have seen us use this as kind of a flipping the coin before. This is the Team Titleist ball marker. A lot of you actually often ask how we get some of the Team Titleist gear. You've seen it on the side of the hats. Best thing you can do, sign up for Team Titleist. It is free to sign up. And often they will surprise some Team Titleist members by sending them stuff or events. We went to a Team Titleist event at 5 Iron Golf and they gave away a whole bunch of stuff. So you gotta have to be signed up to get a chance to get some of this stuff. They do send a lot of it out randomly, but I do know, the one tip I know is that make sure your profile on Team Titleist is filled out completely with your address and stuff so that they can send you something if your name does get picked. But it's free, so join, never know what you might get. A few things here. Sunscreen, always gotta have sunscreen with you. Sometimes I mix it up which ones I bring with me, but I always make sure something's in the bag. I do have, this is something I brought along recently. A lot of you know how much I've been struggling with some issues with back pain. Been working hard on it during the off season. Turns out I've got a herniated disc in my neck, which is pinching a nerve going down my back. So I've been going through a lot of physical therapy for it, but I do find some local relief. I've got company Envied sent me this. It's like a CBD, but also like, there's let's see, it's got like a menthol and stuff like that in it, so it acts as like a local muscle reliever. I'll rub that on if I need to. And I usually will carry some other sort of pain reliever with me. I actually have prescription stuff now. It's basically just prescription size Aleve, which my orthopedic gave me to keep the swelling in the neck down. Titleist Pro V1s. You guys know I talked about this before. I was a big AVX guy, but I said I'm gonna put my hands, put myself in the hands of the professionals. We went for a professional fitting, for a golf ball fitting. If you didn't get a chance to check out that video, check it out. It's amazing what goes into a golf ball fitting. But we put it on the TrackMan. We compared them head to head. I will say they were very close in performance for me, the AVX and the Pro V1. The Pro V1 just got a little bit more height and a little bit more spin, so I found that I was holding the green a little bit better. Beyond that, they both perform well. I have not yet had a chance to game the new 2020 AVX, so I'm gonna try that out this season too, and just kind of play them off against each other. They're very similar in a lot of ways, just a few differences. It really depends on your game and what you wanna do, but these have been playing really well for me. And the team at Titleist was nice enough for 2020 to logo them for us again. So I'm excited about that. And then let's see, speaking of changing weather, there's two things I like to carry in the bag. Not in the dead of summer, but in spring and fall, I carry something like this. Just something if I need a little bit more warmth in my hat, but always, always, always I carry my rain pants with me. I will often also throw a rain jacket of some sort in, but that will vary depending on how warm it is. But I always like to have these with me. Check this out too. It's got that G embroidered on it. Really great stuff, but this is like, it's small, it's light, it's invaluable to have if you get caught in a rainstorm that you weren't expecting. To be able to throw these on and just save yourself from being soaked, really important. So that's always in the bag. Obviously, a big one, shot scope. I have not played a round without shot scope in 2 years now. At this point, if I feel like I played a round and didn't have it with me, I'd be kicking myself because I want to be able to look back go back through those stats. I'm really a stats junkie now. I've learned so much about my game from this little device that it's just always with me. So if you guys haven't seen it, haven't heard of it, the ShotScope V2, what it does is you wear it on your wrist, very simple. On the end of each one of your clubs is a little tag, all right? And that tells the watch what club you have in your hand. The watch detects a swing and it takes its global positioning, the GPS, marks it, and marks every single swing and every club as you move your way around the golf course. You don't have to interact with it. It is a GPS watch, so you can glance down, you can get your distances, but there's nothing you have to do for tagging or anything. It's done automatically, and at the end of your round, boom, you go through your dashboard, you've got all your stats. So we've had some fun competitions on Golficity with it. We've got a Golficity leaderboard. If you have one of these, you can join up for free. But it's been a tremendous part of my game. I really rely on it now, so that's always with me. And speaking of which, another important thing to have is the external battery charger. I carry a couple different ones with me, but it serves a number of purposes. One, if I end up playing 36 in a day and I need a little extra juice for the shot scope, I can charge it between rounds, or charging my phone or whatever else that we need out there, camera equipment. I've got at least one of these charged up, ready to go before we go out there. I also carry this little 36 Golf Co. I love the branding. So these guys gave this to me at one of their events, so I've had it with me for years. But this little bag holds all of the extra batteries. You couldn't imagine how many extra batteries you need when you're out there filming for 4 or 5 hours. So between the number of cameras we have, I've got at least one extra backup battery of every single one of them. I've got backup memory cards, things like that. It all goes in here so I know where it is and I can find it in my bag. The last thing you want to be doing is digging around your bag trying to find things when you need it, especially something like a battery. So that's important. Other things, we talked about this before. I said I want to run through some of the extras, some of the camera extras that I have. And I've got in my bag, and this is again why it's tough sometimes when we go out there with caddies, because I feel bad. I tell them I'd rather just carry my bag. I don't want you to have to lug this thing around. But there's certain things we need, which is why often too when we film, we take a cart because we've got extra stuff. So all different types of things, like a suction adapter that we'll use to get certain shots where we can mount GoPro type cameras on it like that. I'll have different things like this that mounts the camera and allows me to put it in different positions. It's got a little tripod here that can come out, and this thing can stand up, and we can get those shots where we don't want to be, like in front of the camera when we're hitting the ball towards it, or put this in a bunker. There's so many different things. So we've got a lot of different types of adapters and camera holders and things like that with us. Other little things like this, these are ND filters, they're called. These go on the lenses. And what they are is basically, think of them like sunglasses for a lens. So these will go on really bright days. There's different levels of them, so there's stuff like that to be thinking about while you're out there. All types of like selfie type sticks, things like that. Also serving as tripods. We'll use these on the green, we'll use these when we're driving. So all types of little selfie sticks, again, more adapters. But all these go in the side pocket of the bag. Also, very important one, drone. So good thing is with the drone, I'm able to fit everything inside here. This will hold 3 batteries, the drone and the controller. And usually what I will do is clip this right on the side of the bag like that. So if I'm taking a cart, if I'm walking, if a push cart, whatever, it's right there. It's accessible when I need it. But again, as you see, the bag is getting a little bit heavy. Another thing, learned our lesson many times. It's very easy to crash a drone out there. Very easy, with all the trees. So, one of the #1 things that happens when you crash a drone, you break propellers. So, we carry a whole bunch of extra propellers with us now, just in case, Last but not least, another thing I wanted to show you guys. I know it's technically not in the bag, but a couple things I'm excited for gear-wise for 2020 are some of these new shoes from FootJoy. Really excited to get a chance to break these out for the first time. Just got them, haven't taken them out yet. The new Tour X, look how cool that is. Talk about performance and traction. This thing's got it all. I mean, when you see something like this, you're thinking performance, right? So for those days when I need that extra traction, whatever, this is gonna be the shoe. I can't wait to try this out this season. Another one that has done really well by me this past year or so has been the ProSL, which if you hear the podcast and you saw, we actually got a chance to cover this a little bit. We're at the PGA show. It's been redesigned. It's their #1 selling shoe. So some people thought they were crazy for them to redesign something that was doing so well, but they did add some new factors to it. And I'm really liking this shoe. Plus, with Golficity green, I always like something where I can get a little green accent. So I'm like, guys, I gotta get the green. So we got the green. That's pretty much it. That's everything that we have in the bag. Oh, there is one last thing. I often will carry some sort of protein bar in there, especially, like I said, we're moving quick. We don't have time to stop to eat at the turn. We don't have time to stop for lunch. Look at this. I'm looking outside. Look how it's snowing right now. Come on, it's supposed to be March. Let's go. Anyway, carry something with this, like this in there for me. It's just, you know, another one of those things, it's like a little bit of extra insurance. When you get that where you're feeling a little bit weak, feeling a little bit hungry, and then you remember, I got something in there, it'll make your day. So I always have something like this in there. My rhythm, the way I do it is, if I take one out and eat one, the next time, you know, as soon as I get home, I'll throw another one in so I don't forget. Because I don't want to have to remember each time before I go out, what do I have in the bag? I like to just replenish stuff as it goes. Same thing with all that camera equipment. As soon as my round's over and I get home, all of that comes out. All of the cameras get downloaded, and all of those batteries go on the chargers. Once they're charged, they all go right back in the bag so I don't forget them. Because the last thing you want to do is get out there all ready to go and have a dead camera or a full video card. It's not what you want to do. So that is everything in my bag for 2020. Like I said, this is the home edition of what's in the bag because of everything, the craziness that's going on in the world right now. But I really hope everyone out there is staying safe, staying healthy. That's the most important thing right now. Like we said, we're committed to keeping the content up. We want to see if we can keep you guys entertained, provide as much of a distraction as we can during this time. I know it's a tough time for everybody, but again, we're home, we've got the time. Glad the chance to get to run through the bag. But what I want to do is I want to hear from you guys. What do you have in your bag? What's your setup? What suggestions do you have for me now that you've seen this? I'm all ears. I love listening and hearing from you guys and learning from you guys too. So if you see something that you think I should have in the bag, post in the comments. If you got something that you've got a question about, post in the comments. I'm happy to answer as many questions as we possibly can when we go through it. So more into the thought process. Whatever you got a question with, post them. I'll be answering those questions. But yeah, so that's that. Like I said, there will be some changes, but I'm excited to get out there, as I'm sure all of you are. As we said, season's a little bit delayed, but we stay positive. It's gonna happen. We will get through this. We're gonna work hard together to get through it. It will happen. We'll get back out there. And when we do make any changes, we'll be sure to let you guys know. Thanks for watching.